Hi everyone, and welcome back to Craft Center. I'm Hozan Agri, and in this video, we are going to talk about basic disk and dynamic disk, and talk about the differences between these two disks and what kind and what type of dynamic disk do we have, and in which scenario can we use basic disk and dynamic disk. As you remember, in our previous video, we talked about Hyper-V and virtual machine, and we also installed a virtual machine inside our operation system. And today, we are going to talk about dynamic and basic disk, and also try to install dynamic disk inside our operation system. Let's do it together. Let's first start with basic disk. A basic disk is the most common and usual disk in a PC, like Office PC and like home PC. A basic disk can have, for example, extended partition, primary partition, and it also can have a logical drive. The disadvantage of basic disk is you cannot combine them together. You cannot use mirror or RAID on basic disks. But let's talk about dynamic disk. A dynamic disk is more advanced. With a dynamic disk, you can create different type of volume on a disk, and of course, it also used for better performance and better protections. For example, with a dynamic disk, you can have you can mirror disk, you can combine this together, and you can create RAIDs on disk, which is very good for servers. So let's talk about the type of dynamic disk. The first one is called spanned volume. A spanned volume, you can combine two or more disks together. For example, you have a disk with 20 gigabyte and 50 gigabyte. You can combine together and have a storage of 70 gigabyte together. And it's very good for storage. But the disadvantage of having this disk is if one disk dies, you lose all data. And now let's talk about mirror volume. Mirror volume, as it's clear for its name, is copies your data into both disks, which means that if one disk dies for any reason, still your data are saved because you have a copy of them in another disk. So mirrors volume used usually for safety. And we have also RAID 0, RAID 1, RAID 5, and RAID 10. But let's see what RAID stands for. RAID means redundant array of independent disk. And RAID 0 is very fast, but it has no protection again. It is usually used for performance like video dating. RAID 1, it's need minimum 2 disk and also used for mirroring, mean that it's usually used for saving your data if you have important data and files that need to be saved. So you use RAID 1. RAID 10, it's mixed of RAID 0 and RAID 1, and minimum you need 4 disk here, and very safe, very fast, and keep your data safe. And one disk if dies, still you can have your data back there. And RAID 5, it needs minimum 3 disk. It's safe and it's also fast. Disk dies, still your data is safe. But remember that RAID 5 and RAID 10 only can be installed and be used on servers, not on Windows 10 or 11 or any kind of this Windows like Pro education, and enterprise. So now we want to create dynamic disk on our virtual machine. First, we open the Hyper-V manager. Then we select this machine or virtual machine that we want to create dynamic disk on it. For example, we want to create dynamic disk for virtual machine test here. Just make sure that is off and then go to the settings. Here, SCSI, click on it, add, and then new, next. This is recommended because it had a large capacity compared to that one. Next, dynamic expanding, yes. Don't touch it. Just go to the next and just choose a name for it here. New virtual hard disk. Let me just say new virtual. Yeah. Let's see. Virtual machine. Test C. Next. And I just say 10 gigabyte. And next. And here I give you the general information that what you have done it because this is the last steps. And if you just click on it, so you will create your what is called the dynamic disk. So everything is fine here. So you just say finish. And you just need to do the same process for the other if you want to have more. So I have already created 2 more. So let's now just say apply and OK. So if you come here, go to the settings here, you can see here have a hard disk, hard driver here, which I have created before. And then if you come to the browse here, you can see that I have created virtual machine test A, test B, and test C. And now I'll write to 1 to add them to my virtual machine here. Yes. Add, browse. So you come to B, apply, and then again, okay. Settings again. Sorry. So we have now 2, A and B, and we just need C here to be added here. Add, browse, and C. Great. So now I have all these 3 disks here. And now I need to open my virtual machine. So now we have opened our virtual machine. And now we go to the disk management here. Disk management. We just come and create and format hard disk partitions here. You see here, it automatically tells you, hey, you have already created 3 dynamic disks. And disk 1, disk 2, and disk 3. What you want to do with them, you just say MBR, master boot record. Okay. Great. And now here, you need to make or create dynamic disk for this. So we have 10 gigabyte, 20 gigabyte, and 10 also here. So it is 30 gigabyte here. So how we can, for example, create a simple volume, spanned, stripped, and mirror. For creating them, just say, for example, you want to make a new span volume here. Yes, click on the next. This 2 added, this 3 you can add it, and then next. And you just choose a name for it. It's up to you. And then say next. And of course, it should be NTFS. Next. Finish. And here we just tell you that the operation you selected will convert the selected basic disk to dynamic disk. You say yes, you want it. Great. So now if we go to the, just let me to bring our PC here. Computer. Controls. Yes. Computer, yes. Great. So now if we just click on the PC here, you will see that you have a disk of called E because we just made a strip volume here. And now you can change it to another volume. So now as you can see, we have 3 disks here. Each of them is 10 gigabyte. So now we want to create, for example, simple volume, span volume, or strip volume, or mirror volume. Okay. So we'll start with span volume. Next, you just add this 2 because it should have minimum 2 disks on it. So we have 3, so you just say next, and then just choose a name for it. You just say E. Next, it should be NTFS. Make sure that is NTFS. Actually, it has just one option here. And then next and finish. And here say that the operation you selected will convert the selected basic disk to dynamic disk. You say yes, you want it. Great. So now if we come to this PC, you can see that you have a disk for about 30 gigabyte because we combine all these 3 disks together. So you now have a 30 gigabyte disk, as I told you before. And the span volume just make the largest store give you extra place for your files. But as I told you, remember, there is no safety for your data. This is about span. And now we want to change it to mirror. How we can do it? We just go to disk management, click on one of these disks, right click, and then delete volume. You will delete it. And just here give you warning if you delete it, so you will lose all data. So it's better you back up your data here. We know about it, so we have no data inside our disk. So you say I'm fine with it. And now, as you can see, there is no disk here anymore. If you come to this PC, so you can see no E disk anymore. So let's start with mirrored. Next. Yes, add. Why not? Why is only accept 2? The reason is because it is mirrored. It just copied twice, not 3 times. This is the reason. So you cannot have 3 disks here. You just can have 2 disks here. So we just say next, next, and next, and next, and finish, and done. Good. So now here the last one, we can just make it as a simple volume here. Great. So let's go and see what's happened here. Okay. So this is simple volume and this is a mirror. But why is only 10 gigabyte? The reason it is mirrored, as I said, because this is one of them that you can use it and save data on it, and the second one just works as a backup. So it means that if your disk, for example this one, for any reason is not connected or this breaks or any failure, still you have your data on the second disk and you can return back. But remember, it's only if your PC breaks, not with human mistakes. Just say, for example, if you make a mistake like formatting this one, so it will delete the whole data from both disks. So let's see, but if, for example, this one for any reason not working, so then you can recover and bring your data back from the second disk, which is used or work as a backup disk. That was our video about basic disk and dynamic disk, and I showed you how to create a dynamic disk for a virtual machine and how to format them from one volume to another one and the differences between them. I explained all these things. I hope that this video was useful for you. If it was useful and you like it, I really appreciate it to subscribe my channel for watching more videos.